Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Talk on Nevada. I'm your host, Andy Matthews, and this week we're going to take another look at the ongoing effort by the Clark County School District's Board of Trustees to suppress critical speech. And here to discuss that topic with us is Karen Gray. Karen is an education researcher at the Nevada Policy Research Institute. Karen, welcome.
Thank you, Andy.
Karen, we had you on a few weeks ago. We talked about this action that the Board of Trustees of Clark County is trying to take here. Just recap that for our viewers a little bit. What are they trying to do in regards to the public comments at school board meetings?
Well, the board is trying to sort of control what the public is saying and the board's response to the public. There have been a lot of controversial issues coming up, and I think that the board may be trying to find a way to limit those controversies.
You've got a new commentary out for NPRI that gets a little bit into the history of how we got here. It's from the history of these public comment sections at the meetings. Talk a little bit about what you reported recently.
Well, I found it very fascinating when I went through the legislative history on the open meeting laws, and the practice that boards now use today, where the public comes in, they have a comment period, and then the boards across the state respond to the speakers, actually came about because of the Clark County School District. And back in 1991, the school board's general counsel actually proposed an amendment to a bill that would require, or allow, I should say, back in that period, allow that public comment be taken and that trustees or any board member could respond back to the public.
What was significant about the move at that point? What is it, and what can we learn from that today?
Well, back from reading the record, back in those days, if a member of the public came and spoke, boards were advised by their attorneys not to respond to the public, that it violated the open meeting law. And so what was happening is constituents were raising concerns, and the board was kind of strapped to do anything about it. They couldn't get more information. It was being deemed as deliberation. They couldn't really respond at all. And so, and I guess in Clark County at the school district, that was causing a lot of issues. There were a lot of issues going on. In fact, some of them still exist today regarding, at that time, some of the inequities and segregation and desegregation and those types of things, and what today is called the Prime 6 schools. And the board, their hands were tied. They couldn't respond to the public at all.
And so this was a step basically that was taken in order to try to encourage more of a free flow of ideas or debate at these meetings. Is that sort of an accurate assessment?
Yes, and when I spoke with Martin Kravitz, who was a board trustee at the time, he said the board was really, they couldn't respond to the public. They couldn't get more information. They couldn't give more information. There was, that inability was there, that the open meeting law and the way it was being interpreted by attorneys was preventing them. And at least in Clark County, the trustees wanted to be able to do that they felt the only way to get, resolution to some of the public issues was to actually be able to engage with the public.
So sort of bring us up to speed then with where it stands today and this new action, this new approach that the board wants to implement. Specifically, what do they want to do now?
Well, the board has informally been practicing sort of a code of silence with the public since 2006. And what they do is, not with every speaker, but when it's convenient, or, well, I've been told presidential prerogative, when the president exerts prerogative, they will tell a public speaker that wants some answers or brings up some issues that the open meeting law prevents the board from responding to them. And so this was informal, and it was a way of controlling what information got out, what information came in, and a lot of the trustees informally practice this. Well, with this new board, there are a few trustees who actually will engage with the public, and they start having communications back and forth. And a lot of times you'll hear one of the trustees say, I think, are we balancing on that open meeting law line? And so that wasn't working. That wasn't stopping this communication that actually has been going on. And sometimes it's been heated. And so what it appears is that the board, in removing from policy their ability to respond to people that bring up items or topics not on the agenda, by removing their ability to do that, they would, one, quiet the public because they wouldn't be responding, but they would also be able to quiet the other trustees who may be engaging and actually, maybe in their eyes, relaying too much information.
So they want to make official what had been sort of this unofficial practice. Like it sounds like what you're saying, not just to control the public, but to also prevent some of their fellow board members from responding.
Yeah, it would definitely have that effect. And I'm honestly, I don't know whether they're doing it to limit the public or to actually quiet some of the other board members that have been going out.
It's a pretty significant step. What kind of reaction has this generated among policymakers or the public at large here in Nevada?
Well, I know a lot of the parents didn't realize that the board could respond to them in the first place, because for almost 3 years they've been being told that they couldn't. So once they find out that they can, they've just been really upset that the board doesn't want to speak to them. While the board has been practicing this self-implemented code of silence, Assemblyman Mumford has observed the board and has tried to actually pass a bill for the last 2 sessions that would require trustees to respond to public speakers, because he's seen the informal process that the board had adopted. And actually now that they are considering actually formalizing that practice, he is definitely more committed to getting the bill passed in this next session.
All right, Karen, we'll continue to keep an eye on this issue for us. We'll have you back soon to talk about it again. Of course, I want to thank all of you for tuning into this week's edition of Talk on Nevada. As always, we urge you to check us out on the web. npri.org is the address for more information on this topic. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.